Our first guest was actually Lady Don't Take No's very first guest. She is a nationally recognized advocate for civil rights and racial justice in Oakland and the Bay Area. She's the president of the Akonadi Foundation and has been since 2016. She received the MacArthur Foundation Genius Award in 2003. Okay, she OG with it. And did you know she was the youngest woman to ever receive the award? She my bestie. That's my boo thing. So please, welcome Lateefah Simon. Let's go. She's so clean.
We're chilling up in here. I'm not as clean as you.
She's so clean.
I am going to try the next time you go shopping to connect because we're working on it. I still wear turtlenecks to the club.
You look good, girl.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Don't worry about all that. Don't worry about all that.
I miss you.
I miss you too. How you be?
I'm actually super sad that you're moving to Atlanta.
Dude. Hold up. This is why I love her. She be putting me on blast every second of every day. This is my show. Hold on.
Okay, sorry.
This is my show. All right, we gonna rein this back in. Okay, let's start this again. How you doing, girl?
I am doing so good. And I sit here and I apologize for busting you out.
No, it's
but
okay.
what a
We
lot
don't
of
talk
folks
about it.
don't know is that our grandfathers were friends in the Fillmore.
That's legit.
Right? In the
That's
40s
legit.
and 50s, right?
That's right.
Like your grandfather was a horn player and my grandfather
piano.
Same. And he was putting it down. And the black musicians needed space and place. And he was one of the leaders who helped my grandfather acquire a number of nightclubs when San Francisco was still segregated.
That's right.
And we met 60 years later. That's right.
That's right. But can we just say, all this goes to prove that black people, we do all know each other.
That's right.
We do. So let me start off, Tifa, because when we first sat down for this podcast, you were my very first episode, and I love you for that.
Yes.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I still don't.
It's been so good.
But I asked you about your pandemic life, and back then we thought maybe a month or two and we'd be about this thing. Now we're going into our junior year of the Rona.
That's right. That's right.
I gotta ask you, now we know it's not just a pandemic, it's gonna be an endemic, which means the shit gonna be around for a minute. So what has your endemic life been like? And let me ask you this. Is there one lesson that you have learned since we first sat down, or something that you thought about differently since we first sat down all those months ago?
So it's a big question, and I'm gonna talk really fast because when the pandemic hit, remember, I had just been elected as president of Bay Area Rapid Transit, which is a $2.4 billion system.
That's right.
BART. And I was like, yes, until the day the shutdown happened. Our homegirl, London Breed, led the nation in saying, y'all not going nowhere.
That's right.
Until we figure this shit out.
That's right. Now we have the lowest number of cases in the country.
Absolutely.
Because that's how we
and
do
as
it
the
in Cali.
board president of BART, immediately, literally the day after our sister made that declaration, Bay Area Rapid Transit, almost 80% of our operating budget comes from the fare box when you buy a ticket.
That's
so
right.
that means every single person who works for BART, that means the lighting, that means pretty much how the institution runs in 5 counties depends on people tagging in and tagging out. When nobody is on BART, and again, before the shutdown, me and my mama was like, hey, you're the president. and then this young woman who still thinks I'm young, but had 25 years of organizing, had to figure out how to organize. Had to figure out how I was going to lead an institution while I had a day job and a baby and a big baby in law school, how I was going to lead an institution with our values to make sure nobody was furloughed. Nobody was fired. And that our system ran from early to late. I made so many tough decisions, and I called you were one of the few I called day in and day out about how to lead with our values and not be in fear.
That's right.
Not be in fear. And this is this black girl who was an organizer and a baby mama who was in the projects with my first daughter. I was leading a $2.4 billion institution that was destined to fail.
She's now at Howard, by the way.
Law school.
HU.
But organizing and knocking on doors and loving on sisters when police took them away from their families and being, in delivery rooms where young women were separated from their babies. All of that experience running the Homeless Freedom Center for all those years, running reentry programs, prepared me, not grad school, prepared me for running an institution that was destined to fail during a pandemic.
That's right.
But we survived.
Yes,
My
we
budget
did.
that I put forward, Alicia, it balanced. No other transit agency in the country can tell that story. Why? Because you know what? We're trained as organizers. And so the day after the shutdown, my GM and myself, we wrote a letter to Nancy Pelosi and members of the Department of Transportation under Trump and said transportation needs to be deeply a part of any kind of resolution that you move to support people who are struggling in this pandemic. And we brought together dozens of other transit providers to lead a mobilization to make sure that in the first care package, and the second, and now the third, and now the fourth, that transit is a part of that. And I learned that from working with, we work together in the streets of the Tenderloin. No matter what's happening, you center the folks who are so close to the reality of the work. And I couldn't think about running a system where the sister who is the station agent at Civic Center that may get on your nerves, but that is literally,
Be nice to that sister.
that
She
is
just doing her
literally
job.
caring for 3 generations. I wasn't about to furlough her. And I wasn't about to make sure that the person who was working at the old folks home in Daly City wasn't going to be able to get a ride.
So let's get into this, though.
What I'll say, though, because it's show. But we made it, boo. We made it.
That's right.
We made it.
So wait, I wanted to ask you, though, to break it down, because for people who aren't on the inside like you are, you talking about balancing budgets and the GM and all that shit, which is cool. But talk to me about people who depend on transit. Like, why did it matter that you did all that work? What did that mean for people for whom BART is the way that they get around?
Well, so many things. I have 2 girls. I'm a widow. I lost my husband 7 years ago, and I filed bankruptcy a couple months after he died. And we worked so hard to make him live. And I would have given anything just for a couple of more months. I would have signed those bankruptcy papers 20 times over. That's right. But one of the things that came from that illness was the last thing I had left was his 1995 Mercedes-Benz. 95, sister, 95.
Yep. I know, I heard it.
You remember it. And I sold it, and I was back on transit with my babies. I've never driven a car. I'm legally blind. And as a transit-dependent person, all the organizing that I've ever done, it's been about access, and it's been about us being at the center of the conversations that affect our lives. And I found myself being in a situation literally bankrupt, with a 39% APR, $300 credit card.
Ooh.
And you know them, Premier Bank.
I do, I still have one.
And thought about all the things that folks did for me while we were fighting for my husband's life. And it was what can I do to, one, live? Yep. And now to be a part of another community, being a dependent transit rider with these babies. And so running for office for me everyone's like, BART board, it's not hella sexy. To me, I understand now that pre-COVID times, 430,000 people rode that system every single day. And when COVID hit, it was still 50,000 people who, no matter what, had to be at your gas stations, had to be at the old folks' home, had to be at the kidney transplant centers, had to be at your grocery stores. And I wanted to make sure they knew that we were there for them.
That's right.
And in the process, it was also, as you know, an opportunity to reform rogue policing. So what I had campaigned on is let's bring ambassadors. We don't need cops responding to homeless people. Let's bring ambassadors. Let's hire our folks from the community and let's train them. You don't need sticks and badges and guns to wake up Charlie, who's having the worst day of his life.
That's right.
And we won that fight. We brought on 20 ambassadors. We recently brought on 20 social workers. We have a progressive policing unit. I got elected to transform an institution. And I've done that.
Can we give it up?
I've done that.
Can we give it up?
And in the process, learn how to be a better mama, a better cook. Before COVID, I don't even think I knew what Layla's favorite color was. People had to get close to their kids.
Come on.
And we got close. And so we're...
Oh, Layla. So let me ask this question, though.
Yeah.
When are you going to run for mayor of Oakland? Since she busted me out about my damn move and shit, I'm finna ask you what moves you making next.
So for me, I'm going to not run for mayor of Oakland right now. But let me tell you what I am going to do.
That was the most politician-ass shit ever.
Not right now.
She said, well, not right now, but let me tell you what I am going to do.
But I am.
What you finna do?
But I am going to commit my life. I have committed my life to public service. And, you know, I think you and me, we both talked of like, we are going to be on the Hill together. We going to be them old ladies with them big ass Chico's earrings, you know, with our like perms and like wigs.
Oh, I'm about to have me a cowboy hat.
I'm going to have some really nice veneers and my glasses are going to be
I'm going to have
amazing.
one gold tooth, just one in the front.
And we are going to be talking major shit at the Appropriations Committee.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that, honestly, our role, those of us who have had this amazing opportunity to organize and to have different jobs and different opportunities to represent our folks, public service is not an easy place. And as an elected, you can do all the right things and you do two wrong things and you ain't shit. Mm-hmm. I realize that I am supposed to be in public office. Mm-hmm. You don't make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It is difficult. But I believe there are a lot of folks who should run cities and municipalities. Again, my budget for BART, I'm no longer the president, I'm still on the board, but it almost mirrors the budget of the city of Oakland. And so understanding and knowing,
So that means you would know how to run the city.
Oh, I could run a city.
So that's why you should run for mayor.
Okay, but wasn't it you who told me? Okay, so
don't try to turn this shit around.
No,
on
I
me.
am. No, but wasn't it you who told me to go get my master's degree? One of the most beautiful moments.
I did, and you can do it all.
I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. I'm getting my MBA right now. One of the most beautiful moments of my life.
You see how she just switched that shit?
I am.
Now, can I just ask before you continue, because I know you're going to keep giving me the politician, how many people would like to see her run for mayor?
No.
How many people would raise money for her
Stop it, Alicia.
to run for mayor? Anybody set up some phone banks, maybe some text banks? Anybody down for that?
You know what? My role, and it's not even politicians, because it's like real. Like, don't you want me as the only black woman at the dais of 9 people,
be the mayor of
making
Oakland,
sure that people have access to mobility? That is actually what I understand
in Oakland, California.
What I'm supposed to be doing. What I'm supposed to be doing in the world.
Oakland, California.
And going to grad school at the same time. So
that you can run Oakland, California.
Okay, next subject. Let's go.
All right, well, the door is open.
The
door is open. She did not say the door is closed. So you heard it here first on Lady Don't Take No. One more question for you.
Okay.
Before we wrap it up, because we got other things to talk about tonight. Look, I'm big right now. We're getting towards the end of the year. You know, we're in fall, soon to be winter, soon to be 2022. I don't know how that happened. I feel like I'm still processing 2019.
Me too.
I'm big on lessons at this point in the year, right? We start to think about what we've learned, what we've accomplished, so that we can set our path for the next year. Yeah. And I recently had a reading done, and I was told that what I do in the next few months is going to set the stage for the next few years. Mm-hmm. So given that, I'm just curious to hear... no pressure at all. I started getting hives. I was like, why the fuck did you tell me that? Now I'm stressed out. Tell me about the one thing this year that you changed your mind about that actually opened up new doors for you.
Ooh. Sister, I'm breaking up with Busy.
We don't say it again.
We don't like each other anymore. I'm breaking up with Busy. I mean, for 27 years, like I'm gonna say it, 27 years.
That's a fact.
27 years I've been in this gang full time. At 18, I had a staff of 20, right? And it took me 12 years to graduate undergrad. I was raising a baby. I was running an organization. I did government. I've done big NGOs. And now I'm in philanthropy, wanting to fund and love our people and raise money for our folks and feed this movement. Mm-hmm. But I'm realizing in this at 44, that rest is my salvation and meditation is my medicine.
Come on.
And I want to so deeply be an elder. And you cannot give from an empty cup. You cannot. And working harder doesn't make you better. And when we die, because we will, our job announcements will go out 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. Right? And so there's something about the ministry of no.
Let's say that again. The
ministry of no. That you don't have to be in this place for the place to be special. that, when ancestor speaks to us, we actually have to listen. And there's something in our work. There's hubris so deeply embedded, and it's connected even in liberatory work, deeply connected to white supremacy, that says that we have to be there. No, spirit makes it happen, not us.
That's
right. And so I am deeply. I think we might have had to read him by the same person. I'm deeply clear at 44 that life is fleeting, and I may not be here next year. Not because there's anything wrong with my body or my spirit, but I am not in control. And so what I am control is 3 things.
Come on.
How much fun I have.
Yes.
2, how clean my house is.
Yes. Yes. And her house is motherfucking clean, though.
It is motherfucking clean. And 3, the most important, the people that I'm around, do I make them feel joy?
Yes, you do.
Do we feel joy?
Yes, we do.
Do we feel like singing? I want to be around folks, not on stages, not in meetings anymore, not just strategizing.
No more fucking Zooms.
Because I know that when I go, my job announcement will be out in 3 weeks. All I can do is do the best job when I get there, and when I leave, say, baby, you did what you could do. But after and before, when I'm with my baby in the morning and I kiss her and I feed her that old ass roast I made 4 days ago with an egg on top of it, I know there's love there. I know that when I turn in that paper that I could have read 3 more times, I know that it was the best that I actually had. It may not have been your best or your best, but it was my best in that moment. And seeing and praying for and loving all the folks who have passed in the last 2 years who wish they had another day. I thought about that. This is the last thing I'll say. When Kevin was dying of cancer, all he wanted was for his body to work like mine. That's it. Yeah. We went through hospitals, we traveled, we did so much, all these horrific procedures, and he just wanted to live. Yeah. I am living.
Yes, you are.
Meaning that I am free.
Yes, you are.
And the boundaries that surround all of us, and we live in different realities. Some folks in this room can't pay their rent. Some people have 8 months in the bank. That's true. But what is true for all of us is that we are free.
Come on.
We are free.
All right. All right. Tifa.
So let's go.
Can we give it up for Tifa?